WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, X, and our website, www.wvtcdetroit.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users. Thank you for tuning to WVTC Radio Detroit and the Community Bell Show with your host, former Wayne County Commissioner, Edna Bell. Stay tuned for insightful information Detroiters will find valuable. Text a friend and tell them to watch with you for news you can use. And now, your host, Edna Bell.
What's up, everybody? This is Community Bell. It's 4 o'clock. Yes, it must be Community Bell, and I am your guest host for the day, Larry Whitfield. Edna Bell is at home resting, so y'all leave her alone and let her rest. But we want you all to like and share if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X. Like and share. Let everybody know that Community Bell is on. As you know, this is Real Estate Monday, so we want to get right into it. But before we do, we want to ask everyone to please continue to lift up California in prayer. If you've been listening today, those Santa Ana winds have picked up again, and they're still evacuating in the LA County. And LA County is extremely huge, and they're still evacuating, and things have gotten a little bad. So we want to lift up prayer to the state of California. We have a lot of viewers, a lot of watchers from California that are WVTC Radio Detroit family. So we want to lift them up in prayer. All right. Let's get to it. Our speaker for the day, because he's going to take over this show as soon as I do my little thing here, is Kenneth Scott. He is the principal real estate broker and owner at CSW Real Estate. So we want to bring him on. Ken, are you there?
I am here, Larry. How are you?
Man, what's going on? Happy New Year to you and your family and everything. How is everything going?
You. Everything's going well. Everything's going well. It's a new year. Happy New Year to everyone.
Yeah.
It's a chance to get it right one more time.
That's right. And it's still a chance to get into a home.
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
The opportunity that exists as long as you have like I always state, preparation meets opportunity.
That's right.
Yeah.
I was kind of preparing myself when I was asked to sit in for Edna, and I was reading on some things here, and it states here, it said the real estate market in Detroit is growing, with home prices expected to continue to increase moderately through 2025. And then it talks about how the market is characterized by affordability, demand, inventory shortages, and rising rent and stuff like that. I want you to just kind of open up, saying that we're at the top of 2025. And let's say I'm a person, okay, it's 2025. I want to get my finances and everything in order. I really want to get a house this year. What should I be doing?
First and foremost, make up your mind to do that. Don't be fearful of the process. Make sure that you've done all the necessary things to get in that position, meaning that you have filed your taxes for the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
You've improved your credit score as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
And you have some reserves to work with in order to do the earnest money deposit, the inspection, the appraisal, whatever the case may be, because there are down payment assistance dollars out here to cure some of the ills that are barriers to home ownership.
Yes.
But at the same time, you have to make it up in your mind whether you want to pursue home ownership or do you want to continue to rent.
Right.
Now, both aspects are going up in price. But at the same time, only one offers you an opportunity for generational wealth, and that's owning a home. So you have to make up your mind, which one do you want to do? Do you want to continue to rent in various locations, whatever the case may be, in various cities or whatever the case may be? Yeah. Or do you want your own keys to own, your own stake in this generational wealth that we call home ownership?
And in actuality, rent has gone up extremely,
tremendously.
But people in general that are renting, and it's not everybody, but people have gotten comfortable with the renting factor because, something happened. I can contact the landlord and various things can be fixed. Everything is put on the landlord, and the mindset is, this is okay. I get a mortgage. I own the home. Now I have to do everything myself. So
absolutely, but most of that is a write-off.
Say that again, please.
Most of that is a write-off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I mean, I have people that said, "Oh, I don't want a house anymore. I want a condo." Do you realize that Michigan only has 4 or 5 months of sunshine anyway, in warm weather. So you're only going to be cutting the grass for 5 months. And at that point in time, a lot of those things can be written off. Snow removal can be written off. But at the same time, the important thing is that you attain generational wealth as you go on, so you can pass that on to your kids, your grandkids, whatever the case may be. But at the same time, don't just leave it out there and leave no succession plan as it relates to your family and everything, because you want a place where you can reside, where you can come home from work, or your children can come home from school and say, "This is mine.
Right.
This is my house in my neighborhood, and I can have influence over what happens in it."
Yeah. And my children just left. I have 2 children in college, one at Bowling Green and one in Kentucky State, and they came home to their rooms and they put whatever they wanted up on the walls and all that kind of stuff. Didn't have to worry about, but don't put that on the wall because Mr. Landlord said we can't do that. And
exactly. And that's provided you have a good landlord, because there's some slum landlords out there too that don't keep up the property and what have you, and then you wind up paying for their property, not putting in your money in your house.
Yeah. For those of you that are just tuning in, everybody, this is Real Estate Monday. We are here with Ken Scott. He is the expert in real estate, and I advise you to please get pen and paper and write down these things because it's very important. Ken, I noticed there is a lot of people from the outside, and I'm sure you and Lady Edna has talked about this before. There's a lot of people from the outside that are buying homes in the city.
Absolutely.
And, you remember how it used to be? It was like, okay, I done moved out to Southfield and I done moved out to, and that was a wonderful thing because a person moved out. But then the opposite party is moving into the city. So there's something going on in the city that's causing people to move here, and they are buying houses like crazy. I mean, I'm riding up and down these local neighborhoods, and people are fixing up these houses and they're gutting them out and renovating them. So if you can just kind of talk about how important it is that because these opportunities are here, how important it is for us to take advantage and get in one of these houses.
Yeah, at no other time in this municipality or surrounding municipalities can you buy a home for such a low price, put your touches on it, and call it your own. I mean, you can go into suburbs and what have you, and chances are we're talking about anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 difference in the area that you're trying to move into. When the foreclosure crisis hit, when the school system was not where it should have been at that point, and crime was high and what have you, everybody had a mass exodus out of the city. They said the grass is greener on the other side of 8 Mile, Telegraph, Hayes, Ford Road, whatever the case may be. But at no point in time can you find a better investment than a home in the city of Detroit that can satisfy the needs of you and your family. I mean, then going on to the renovation process of everyone trying to buy homes, flip homes, use them as rental properties and what have you. You could do those things. You could do those things readily. Where our grandparents had shag carpet, wallpaper on the walls, the old ceramic tile in the kitchen, in the bathroom, and what have you. These new homes are being renovated. These old homes are being renovated and brought up to new housing standards. In some cases, you may be using energy efficient items such as appliances, windows, roofs, what have you, that are going to even further your investment in that property. So you have to look at all the things that are happening to bring our properties up to code enforcement and energy efficiency to the point where it's an asset, it's a tax write-off, and it's yours.
Yeah. Is there a particular neighborhood or is there a particular location in the city where it's like, you should really go over there because there's a lot of homes over there? I mean, or is it just primarily all over?
It's primarily all over. Because if I said one neighborhood or two neighborhoods, then all the energy and all the focus would be on those neighborhoods, and then they would drive up the price.
Oh.
I'd rather a person buy a home that where 80% of the items in the home were where they should be, and the 20% you add to your own liking. Meaning that if we have a home that's structurally sound, if we have it mechanically sound, meaning that the electrical circuits in the circuit breaker are 100 amps or more, you have plumbing, PEX or copper plumbing,
right,
or PVC, or and as it relates to the furnace, make sure that it's energy efficient. If you have those four things going for you, then that's a good home to start with. And then you could add your own kitchen through renovation loans, or you could add your own garage, finished basement, an extra bathroom in the basement.
Here we go. See,
what happened?
Now I have to stay with Edna on this.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
I got to stay with on this bathroom piece. I think.
All right, Edna Jr. now.
I believe that when you move into a home, that it should at least be a bath and a half.
It should be, but at the same time,
at least 2 toilets.
Larry, I'm telling you what the market has in it now. Most homes have 1 bathroom only. And if you're a person that has 2 or more people in the household, you need that extra bath in the basement.
Right. But
okay, but at the same time, it's not there. It's not there.
Family of 5.
Okay. Oh, then
we got big families, man.
Then you need 2 bathrooms and a half.
Think about it.
You need 2 bathrooms and a half.
In the city of Detroit is minimum, whether it's a mother and father, or just a mother or just a father. It's a minimum probably of 3 children.
Okay,
you gotta have at least 2.
Like I told Edna. Okay. You can buy that house with that 1 bathroom, and you got about 3 or 4 people in that house. One of y'all gonna have to use that bucket.
You see, here we go. Here we go.
Okay. Or you can buy, or you have 2 options. Hold on. You have 2 options. You can buy a house and have somebody else put a half bath in the basement, or you can use a renovation loan, which will add that and be accessible in 1 mortgage loan.
Now,
acquisition and the renovation.
Now let's talk
would
about
be more
that.
suitable for you and your family.
Let's talk about that for a minute, because when you first
want to talk about the bucket?
No. I'm saying in reference to the renovation loan that you was referring to.
Okay.
How long? You know how when you first buy a home, you really can't touch that equity immediately.
Okay.
You have to be in the home a while before you.
Absolutely.
Am I right?
Absolutely.
You can't just move in a home
because you look at the amortization table and you find out that you won't be getting to the principal for about 5 years.
Right.
Okay, you paying on interest.
So when you talk about
depending on what you put down as well. Let me say that.
Okay. So when you talk about the renovation, the renovation loan, I mean, moving into a house, I need another bathroom. How quick can I access such a loan like that? Or Would I have to use the bucket a while before I can tap into that?
Instantly.
Okay, let's talk about that.
I have 4 individuals that work for 4 different entities.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2 are banks, 2 are mortgage companies.
Mm-hmm.
They work specifically for the renovation loan,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be through FHA 203K, whether it be through Fannie Mae Home Style or Freddie Mac Choice Renovation, or VA renovation loans.
Mm-hmm.
They all operate within that same format, where when you buy a home, you buy the home based on what the bank will loan you, plus the renovations, which is an additional component of that, but it's all in one mortgage.
Okay.
The acquisition is part, and then the renovation is a part of it. And that depends on what is needed in the home. What is needed in the home to bring it up to code, meaning that the structure has to be sound, the roof, the ceiling, the walls, the floors, the windows, the doors, porch, the garage, the sidewalks, everything. Everything has to be up to code, where it's not a tripping hazard or paint is peeling or whatever the case may be. The windows are in place. They're not broken or what have you. The tile, the tuck pointing is done on the porch. The chimney is in place and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
All those things, if all those things are structurally sound, and the mechanicals, the furnace, the hot water tank, the electrical, and the plumbing are in place and what have you, and you just want renovations or updates, then that renovation loan can take over that project in the kitchen, the bathroom, the extra bathroom, the garage, the tree removal,
okay,
sewer scope. I mean, sewer digging up of the sewer line and replacing it, whatever the case may be. All those things come into play.
Okay, so I guess my question is, because you mentioned a lot of things that we're looking at in order to get that renovated. Have I moved into a home that I've acquired that demands a lot of renovation, or have I moved into a home and after moving into the home, I start discovering these various things? Because it would seem to me that some of these things should have been structurally inhabitable before I moved into this house, unless I was getting the house at a price where I know I would have to do some major renovations.
Okay, let me take you through the steps first.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
You've gotten pre-approved.
Mm-hmm.
You find out what your dollar amount is. You find out what your terms are, meaning that how many years, 30 years, FHA, conventional, VA, whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
And then you work with a real estate agent or broker, whatever the case may be, salesperson or broker, and you go out. They identify homes that meet that criteria given by that mortgage lender. So if it's $120,000, if it's FHA, meaning all the homes that you see should be identified with your real estate agent or broker to find out which homes meet that criteria.
Yes.
And you only see those homes that meet your criteria. And you go out in the field and you find that the roof is a little shaky. There's shingles missing. The gutter is torn off the house. The plumbing is not in place. The furnace and the hot water tank aren't up to code or what have you. The electrical, you're still dealing with fuses and what have you. All those things can be taken care of through that renovation loan. But at the same time, the first process after seeing that home is making an offer and then having that property inspected. Because you want to make sure that everything is up to code, everything is running efficiently.
Yes.
Everything is functional first and foremost, and then it's running efficiently. Yeah. And then if anything needs to be done after that, you want to make sure that either you move on, you find another house that has all those things and that are working functionally.
Okay.
And if not, if the seller is willing to do the repairs for you, which which I usually don't trust.
Why is that?
Why?
Yeah.
Because if they didn't do it in the first place, or they did it wrong in the first place, why would you trust them to do it again?
That's true.
Okay, so you want to make sure that all things are done by your home inspector. They outline what's wrong with the home, okay, or how functional it is and how long it's going to last. And if you're willing to move forward with that, and your financial institution is willing to risk loaning you money for that particular purpose, then you move on and make sure that all those things are accounted for and all those things can be repaired in a short period of time, because the repair period could take a long time because they don't have a person to do it.
Yeah.
They don't have a person to replace the furnace or the hot water tank. They don't have a person to do the plumbing. They don't have a person to do the electrical. And that bodes another question. You need the house, if the seller of the home or the investor of the home has actually pulled permits, then that's a good thing too, because you want to make sure that everything follows the permit of the municipality that you're buying in. In the city of Detroit, it's important that you pull a permit if you're doing any work, any substantial work in the home. Most investors don't do that, and you have to find out through your own home inspector or whatever the case may be. But at the same time, there are still things that need to be addressed other than through your home inspector, such as a sewer scope. You've heard about flooding in various areas of the city of Detroit.
Yes.
You want to make sure that with the infrastructure being as old as it is, that is still working functionally.
Yeah.
If it's not working functionally and everything, and the work is not being done correctly, then you could wind up with a backup, and you don't want that backup at any point in time.
Yeah.
So you might want to move on to another home, or if that seller is or investor is willing to do it, make sure that they do it and they show you a warranty on the plan stating that they had done it first and foremost. They had resolved the issue, and you have a warranty to say that, hey, in the event that something else goes wrong, you have a home warranty to back it up and follow it up with this city of Detroit's plan as far as sewer scope as well.
Yeah. Now, haven't the city been doing a lot of changes in reference to the water pipes and stuff throughout the city?
Yeah, they have. And in certain areas, it's been done. In a lot of areas, is yet to be done.
Okay.
So you have to make sure that you are following up with the necessary individual, whether it be the seller, the investor, even get some understanding from one of the city departments. I think it's Public Works, to see if that work has been completed. And if that's the case and everything, that's an extra assurance that, hey, everything may not be resolved, but we did go in there and correct some issues that were there before.
Yeah. I want to go back to this renovation loan. Is there a cap on the renovation loans, or is the renovation loan again based on your credit of how much you're able to get from it?
A little of both, but at the same time is basically based on the appraisal of the home and how much you make an offer for the home. So using the example of the 120 again, you come in at 120, you find a lot of things that are wrong, and excuse me, and you want to make an offer of 100. So we've checked the comps in the neighborhood. They're going for 120, 130. So you made an offer of 100. They accept the offer of 100. So you can cash them out and do $20,000 to $30,000 worth of renovations.
Okay.
If that falls within the purview of all the repairs that are needed and what have you, you're fine.
Okay.
Let's say also that the appraisal of the home wasn't the 120 or the 130. Say it was a 150. So if you've done repairs of 20 to 30,000, you made an offer of 100, it got accepted. You had $30,000 worth of work that was needed, so you up to 130. But the appraisal of the home goes for 150. That means you have $20,000 in equity instantly.
That's good.
Okay, so
That's
in
good.
the event that something else goes wrong, you're covered.
Mm-hmm.
I always suggest people do a sewer scope in a home that they're purchasing, as well as get a home warranty. Home warranties are somewhere between $600 and $700. The sewer scope is usually around $200. The private home inspection is somewhere between $400 and $500.
Mm-hmm.
The appraisal is somewhere between $500 and $600.
Okay, I'm gonna say 6 or 7 on that appraisal.
Well, also, what you got to also think about it like this: there are financial institutions that may not charge you at all, depending on your credit, depending on what program you enter into, whether it be a traditional program or a portfolio product that is specific to that bank. They may not charge you at all. They might eliminate the private mortgage insurance, which takes a lot of money off your initial payment.
Okay. Ken, talk about some of the programs that are available when you talk about purchasing a home. People look at closing costs, people look at various costs throughout the process of the loan. And there are some programs out there that'll help you throughout this process. Talk about that a little bit, because I'm only putting this stuff out here because people just get nervous when it's time for them to buy a home. It's just they see they be like, oh no, I'll just stay renting, and that's a mindset that we need to come out of.
Absolutely.
And they need to understand that there are programs out there. So let's talk about some of these programs that the city of Detroit has access to when you're getting ready to buy a home, because this is the time to do it.
Well, it's not so much the city of Detroit that has exclusive rights to it. It's also the financial institutions.
Yes.
I am convening a home buying seminar every month from February through November of this year, where we're going to have a mortgage lender panel, and it's going to include 10 financial institutions. All of them do traditional and portfolio products as far as mortgage loans, down payment assistance, what have you. But they also do incentives as far as paying for your PMI, paying for your closing costs, your down payment, paying for your taxes that are owed on the property, what have you, in order to get you in a home. Now, those 10 institutions all have different products. Those different products could be something that's specific to your situation. Whether you have a credit score of 580 to 6 and above, or whatever the case may be, they have a program for you. If you are in a low to moderate census tract where the income in the neighborhood is not that high or is low to moderate, then they have an incentive for that. If you need down payment assistance, there's an incentive for that. If you are within the average median income or the poverty income level, then they have a product that's specific to that. So my point in bringing the mortgage panel together is for you to do comparison shopping.
Yeah.
As relates to the mortgages that are out there. Now, 10, 15 years ago, all of them were based on your credit score. And if your credit score was low, your interest rate was high. And if it was your credit score was high, your interest rate was low. That's not always the case anymore. And not only that, they also offer alternative credit or non-traditional credit.
What's a good, decent credit score?
Excuse me. I can't say what that is anymore because what used to be the criteria for getting a loan and getting what we call a so-called good credit score, it has fluctuated.
Yeah,
But let me explain alternative and non-traditional credit.
absolutely.
A lot of those things come into play because Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian are usually portals or credit bureaus that collect the information for paying off loans on a regular basis or paying them off on time. But also they report derogatory items, meaning that those items are late or charged off or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
But what the industry has found is that, or Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and Federal Home Loan Bank have found, is that there are more individuals out there paying their rent payments on time, their utility bill payments on time, their car note on time, their cell phone bill, their cable bill, and their insurances on time. So one of the things that they're doing now is looking at how those items are being assessed and
Mm-hmm.
how they're being paid. If you have a checking account and it is documenting when you're paying your rent on time,
Mm-hmm.
your utilities on time, your car note on time, your cell phone, cable, insurances on time, then that is a means where you, if you didn't have good credit or didn't have any credit at all, now there's a paper trail from your checking account stating that you paid these things on the last 12 months.
Wow, that's great.
And if rent is paid every month for 12 months, then they look at you more favorably as a risk to buy a home now,
Really?
where that option didn't exist, I would say 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's coming into a factor where it can be considered and you can get more house.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're searching and your income is not what it should be or what you think it should be, and you go in there and get pre-approved, they're going to look at all those factors to judge whether they can risk loaning you money and how much money. And with the cities program that has just been recently concluded, is the fact that they were paying off not only your taxes, but
Mm-hmm.
they were paying off some of your principal as well.
Wow.
So that was reducing the payments. I had 3 home buyers that were paying somewhere upwards of $1,200 per month in rent. Now they're paying $500 or a little more now in a mortgage.
Okay.
So it's incumbent upon us to always be prepared and always say preparation meets opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the case and what have you,
Mm-hmm.
then you can take advantage of some of these programs that make home ownership attainable and more affordable.
Yeah. Ken, I want to ask you this. It kind of ran across my mind as you was talking. Y'all, this is some good information. I hope you all are writing this down. I am going to ask him about this event that he has coming up soon, and make sure that Edna get that information as well. I want to ask you about homeowners that have lots next to their homes. That I see you laughing.
Yeah.
They have lots next to their home, and the city is not, mowing it or whatever. You're taking care of it. Because it's next to your home. So it's not like, well, I keep my grass cut. You want the surrounding area cut as well. But you have an interest to acquire this lot that is owned by the city, but the city is not necessarily taking care of the lot. What is the process of acquiring that lot?
You find out first and foremost who owns the lot. Is it the
Mhm.
city? Is it the land bank? Is it multiple land banks? Is it a private owner, whatever the case may be?
Mhm.
And you find out who owns that lot and find out if it's this land bank is called the side lot program. They can sell you the lot for $100, maybe something like that. But at the same time, if it's a private owner, depending on what they've done and what they owe on it, as well as what they have on it, as
Mhm.
far as improved property, meaning that is there a structure on it? Is it just a vacant lot? Whatever the case may be, you
Mhm.
have to negotiate with that particular person. I have presently 3 listings that have a side lot on the side that is part of the purchase itself.
Wow.
So I don't have that issue because that extra lot was included in the legal description of the property, meaning that it was already conjoined and part of the sale itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say I'm taking a look at a house that has a lot next to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to see who owns that.
Mm-hmm.
Or, well, yes, I want to see
Your
who
real
owns
estate
it because
professional
I
can
want
look up.
to.
Your real estate professional can look up the public record data and find out who owns it and find out what means you have to do to go through to purchase it.
Mhm. Because there are a lot of neighborhoods in the city of Detroit that has,
Unfortunately,
houses are not directly next to each other like they used to be. You may have a
unfortunately,
house, a lot, and then man, I've seen some beautiful homes, and the person then took that lot and put a privacy fence in
right?
there, and their backyard looked
Or a
like
local garden or something like that.
their backyard looked like Cedar Point. I mean, just beautiful. I mean, just lovely, and it just makes the neighborhood that much more um, um, better looking because
Absolutely,
everybody is, yeah, yeah. So I
absolutely.
was just,
I mean, keep in mind that occupied home is not only uh, a an asset to the community, but it's taxable income that
mhm,
is being derived, but it's also a safety factor as well.
yeah, yeah, that's
And
important,
you want your neighborhood to be as safe as possible.
right? And we want everybody watching. We want the neighbors that when I was little that I thought was too nosy, when
Oh,
I was little,
a
I had
nosy neighbor could be your best asset.
man, and it took me being of age to understand,
Yeah.
that Mrs. Roof, who lived next door to me, that I couldn't stand when I was 12 years old, because she
Uh,
always told my parents that I
uh,
was somewhere I wasn't supposed to be. I love her
and
and
chances are you weren't supposed to be there.
I I can definitely appreciate that now.
But
So
you thought Miss Ruth was a tattletale.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Miss Ruth was watching out for you.
Yes, yes, she was. Yes, she was. Listen, give the people, if you can, the information of the event that's coming up, because I believe, man, that
Okay.
awesome event.
We're trying to nail down a couple of venues where we alternate. So
Mhm.
I'm just going to give you my phone number.
Sure.
My phone number is 313
Mhm.
819 7065. My name is Ken Scott, and I can be reached at that number 313-819-7065. And the thing is, we want to overcome some of the barriers to home ownership.
Yeah.
Those barriers being your lack of confidence,
Mhm.
your little or no credit, your lack of information,
Yes.
your lack of a down payment or closing cost assistance, uh, and your lack of savings. Because if we can remedy some of those things, if not all of those things,
Mhm.
we make home ownership more affordable.
Yeah.
And that's our chosen path right now, is to make home ownership more affordable. You
Mhm.
shouldn't have to rent in substandard housing or housing that is gonna have you relocate every week, every month of the
Right.
year, and what have you.
Mhm.
And make sure that when you're renting that property, that you can afford that property. That
Mhm.
there is a term called rent burden and severely rent burden.
Mhm.
And I want you all to take this into account. Rent burden is when you're paying more than 30% of your gross monthly income.
More than 30%
of your gross monthly income.
Monthly gross.
Severely rent burden
Mm-hmm.
is when you're paying more than 50% of your gross monthly income.
That's a lot.
That means you can't afford to do anything else
But pay rent.
And at what point in time are you sacrificing the other items that make you whole?
Yeah.
That give you that quality of life, that prevents you from creating generational wealth. So you have to look at that and say, I know this situation is temporary,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to allocate some funds to stay here for the time being. But this is not going to be a permanent situation for me and my family.
Yes.
This is a situation that is, like Stephen A. Smith says on the sports First Take, is fluid.
Yes. Yes.
We're going to move away from this situation real soon.
Yeah.
But you can't be fearful of the process, and you can't be hesitant about making a goal.
Yeah.
And don't make it a long-term goal. I've seen so many people make, I'm going to do this next year. Next year is this year.
Yes, it is.
It was the year you were talking about last year, and the year before that, and the year before that.
Right.
So I use the acronym SMART. You have to be specific in what you want. It's got to be measurable, meaning that you can attain it.
Mm-hmm.
Not something that's being able to get it in a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be attainable, meaning that with your budget, with your credit score, with your income, are you able to get it?
Yes.
It has to be rewarding. Something that you find pride in. Something that you know your kids can benefit from. You and your kids can benefit from.
Mm-hmm.
And it has to be timely. Meaning that don't stretch it out. Because procrastination is prevalent in our community.
Yes, sir.
Do it now, or at least making strides to get it in a short period of time will make it timely.
Yes, sir.
You can save some money. You can save some money on that principal, that interest, that taxes and insurance.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can't do that paying in somebody else's dream and not having a vesting of your own dream.
Yeah.
So those things come into play when we want something.
Yeah.
They'll say, if you haven't attained it, you didn't want it bad enough.
Yeah.
The question is, do you want it bad enough?
That's right. That's right.
And when do you see yourself getting it?
Yeah. Ken, this has been some valuable information, man. I want to thank you for handling Real Estate Monday. I want to thank Edna.
I want to thank you for sitting in for Edna.
Yes, sir. I am so honored.
Whatever island she's sitting on.
Yeah, she is at home chilling.
Okay, she's chilling. Okay.
Yeah. We're going to get out of here. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to Community Bell with Edna Bell. And y'all let Edna Bell know I think I did okay today. And thank you. Real estate.
Absolutely.
Thank you for listening to Community Bell with your host, former Wayne County Commissioner Edna Bell. This broadcast was brought to you by WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, our website, www.wvtcradio.com or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users. If you've enjoyed this broadcast, tell a friend to tune in. We'll see you next Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern to the Community Bell Show, right here on WVTC Radio Detroit.
I love teaching others because when I first got into the healthcare field, people overlooked me. I was really a ninth grade dropout who had no education, but I was determined to make something of myself for my baby. So Motor City matched the funds I put into my business. They awarded me $20,000. So now I'm able to focus solely on first step healthcare training and give it everything it needs. All because I live in Detroit.
Go to your Apple or Google Play Store and download the WVTC Gospel Radio app today. You can also say, Alexa, play WVTC Radio Skills.
Would you like to play WVTC Radio Network?
Absolutely. Download it today.
You're listening to WVTC Gospel Radio Detroit, and we're flowing in the Spirit.